Hey everyone, this is my talk. It's called Make Friends, Not Fans. And this is my name. And I know what you're thinking. How the hell do I pronounce that? Like seriously, what's that supposed to be? Isn't there supposed to be like a vowel there? Is it NGUYEN? NGUYEN? Wait, I got it. The G must be silent. So I bet it's NGUYEN. No, that's wrong too. So actually, I don't know how to pronounce my name either. So when people ask me, I'm put on the spot. Seriously, this is how it's supposed to be spelled. Like, what is this? It has a hat. Since when did the E start wearing a hat? And it's got two hats too. Like one wasn't enough. Well, people tell me it's pronounced win. Like somehow N plus the word guy makes a W sound. But when I first heard that, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That sounds nice. It's win, like I'm winning. But that's not actually right, because Vietnamese is a tonal language. The definition of your words change based on your inflection. So what the hat actually means is it makes it sound a little bit more like this. Andy win? Like, is Andy gonna win? I don't know, you tell me. So I've spent my whole life trying to win so I don't confuse people. And now that you can say my name, allow me to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Andy Nguyen, and I'm currently working on a game called Industries of Titan at Brace Yourself Games. It's a Vancouver studio where all the wonders of the world can rest comfortably in the palm of Ryan Clark's hands. This guy. And if you don't know who he is, all you need to know is that he's a very successful man. And that is because fortune favors the bald. In the past, I worked on these games. I was a designer and level designer for Monaco, and I was a designer and producer for Tooth and Tail. Monaco was the first game I had worked on. It's a 4-player co-op heist game. And the reason why I wanted to explain my name, or how my name is pronounced, is because it exists in Monaco. And I don't mean just the credits. You see, in Monaco, you can unlock characters with special abilities. And there's this one character called the Mole who can destroy any wall. I knew when players unlocked this character, they would try to dig everywhere. So I left messages for them like this. And here's another one. I didn't get fired, by the way. So what does this have to do with community? See, I think making games is about creating a human connection with your audience. We are social creatures. Humans were meant to live in packs for survival before we had all these niceties. And so when players encountered this Easter egg, they were reminded that Monaco was made by another person, just like themselves, and that this Easter egg was made specifically for them and for their enjoyment. That's a moment of human connection that the game was a facilitator for. It's this feeling of, hey, the developer is speaking to me. And yet, despite the positive feelings we get from playing video games, games are by nature very isolated experiences. We isolate people to punish them. We put criminals in prison, and we ground children. And I was a very isolated gamer for a huge part of my life. I remember spending days never leaving my room because I loved playing video games so much. And during this time, I noticed when I interacted online, I was pretty short-fused. I was impatient, demanding, And I think it reflects a lot of what we see online these days. See, I think it's possible that a lot of the anger and negativity that we see online is a result of isolated gaming. And this can be addressed by communicating directly with your fans. But how do you deal with these meanies, right? Well, see, I think a huge part of why people think these people are being jerks online is because these people are lonely and they just need some sort of attention. And this kind of attention, it can be provided by anybody here. See, as it turns out, if your goal is to get attention, the easiest way to do it is just to be an ass. And studies have shown that negative experiences are much more memorable than positive experiences. That kind of sucks, right? Well, the reason for that is because it's in our DNA for survival. If I see a rhino, and I think it's a cool looking rhino, I'm probably not going to remember the fact that it tried to kill me yesterday. But we no longer live in an environment where focusing on negativity is necessary for survival. So we have to be the change. And the way we change the negativity is to give more attention to the positivity. There are usually more positive comments than negative ones. And if you respond to the positivity, people will know that positive behavior gets attention. Recognizing positive people then empowers them to stand up for you if someone else is being a jerk online. Because no one really likes a bully, and people will intervene on negativity if they view you as a good person. But Andy, what if someone's being a total ass butt? Okay, so I heard this saying a long time ago, kill them with kindness. But I always thought this was kind of a weird saying, because if you have to kill someone in order to get your point across, then you're definitely missing the point of kindness. So instead I say, maim them with merriness. That way, your fans can live to tell the tale of how you spared their lives with merriness. So here's this hypothetical scenario to explain my point. Let's say a AAA company wants to add a new feature to their game. And that feature rewards their most dedicated players for having played the game for a very long time. The default player reaction is going to be, what evil scheme is this company up to now? They're trying to monetize me or something. See, that suspicion is founded on a history and reputation that the game industry has built over decades. And this is why the evil practices from a few companies can really harm the industry as a whole. So now, many of these players are very hard to change. But we are lucky in that we have the opportunity to define our own culture. So when people attack you for not delivering your game on time or not having updates for 2 months, you must first establish that you are a good person with good intentions. And in order to do this, you must communicate. If you are the good person, others will stand up for you because that jerk online is being the bad one. Now, people want to be the hero. The superhero fantasy is very popular, but only your actions will make clear that you are a person worth saving. And this means that the onus is on us to change this, and it can be changed. So as a result, cool stuff can happen. There's this one time I visited Korea for Tooth and Tail to show off the game, and I didn't speak any Korean at all. This gentleman's name is Reading Snail, and he came up, surprisingly, he didn't mention this, and visited me at the show and spent the day there to translate the game for the locals. That was a lifesaver. I went to the last PAX that we went for the game. 13 members of our community came to volunteer to set up the booth and take it down and explain the game to other fans, and that was a huge help. And one year, we had the opportunity to show at South by Southwest, but we couldn't make it. So our community member, Calix Jumi, traveled from Mexico to show off the game for us in our absence. And there's other benefits too. You can get devoted content creators who make content to market your game on a regular basis, ambassadors who represent the game for you when you're not available and represent everything that you mean when you put your work into the game. people who want to help localize your game for you, or at the very least, test the quality of it. And immediate feedback for any patches or content updates you have, so you know about them as soon as possible. And here's how I did it. I made a chat room where people can engage with me on some level. Chatting was my cure for loneliness when I was young, so I offered it as an option for others. People are much nicer to you when there's a direct human contact. They don't, surprisingly won't say the same things that we read on forums. And this idea of a developer chat room would become a huge part of how I decided to engage my community for years. I used a platform called Discord, which I'm sure many of you know by now. It started over 3 years ago and is now growing at 2 million new registered users per week. I started Discord a few months after its launch 3 years ago. And in that time, I had created an integrated community experience where players felt involved in the development of their favorite game. I was told by Discord developer relations that my work on Discord inspired and influenced the creation of software dev kits that were designed to empower future developers to create more interesting integrations with Discord. In fact, I even was invited to, as the first non-Discord developer to speak on their blog. I wrote an article explaining the process of how we use Discord to improve communication to gamers. And if you want to read the article, you can Google NGUYEN Discord, assuming you know how to spell my name. All this effort was communication directed towards our most invested fans. They no longer felt the frustration of poor communication because they knew I was there for them. I wasn't there 24/7, but I was in some capacity because anything is better than nothing. And 3 years later, it's a lot more common now. A lot of big companies are doing it, and it seems like it's becoming an industry standard. So the takeaway: first, we used forums to communicate development. Then Twitter became popular, and now it's chat. The trend is moving towards more and more personal communication. You don't have to engage with your audience every day, but your chances of success will be higher if you can increase the channels in which you communicate to your players on a personal level. It's also a very underappreciated role in game development. So seriously, if you don't want to do it, consider hiring someone to do it for you. The community is there to help you. They just want to make the best game possible. And that's good for us too. You just have to engage them and reward them for their positivity. And remember, make friends, not fans. Here's my email. You can send me a message anytime. This is my Twitter. It's pronounced win. And also, please play me at Tetris Attack. It's one of the greatest games ever made. And if you don't believe me, ask one of the Northways. Thank you.